Good morning, everyone. George, I gotta tell you, buddy, I'm impressed that you're coming. I'm impressed that you're seeing everything every day. Good morning, Allie and Marlo and MS572. Hey, Lisa. And S. Coggins Yoga. Good morning, Marley. What's going on, Becky? Rebecca. Hi, Sonia. Kelt. It's good to see you all. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Jennifer. And South Shore Girl. Good to see you all. So it's a little rainy out, a little misty out here in the Boston area. We'll wait a couple minutes for people to come. Where's everyone meditating from this morning? Hey, Jane. Good morning, Martha and Lena. Hi, Beth. Susie is with us. And Lena, good morning. Situate. Oh, I love Situate. Walpole. George, that's my old rivals. Norwood's old rivals. Well, Walpole, Dedham. Concord, as we say here, or Concord, anywhere else in the United States. That's awesome. Hi, Lee. Hi, Jess. Westwood. We always knew Westwood. We live right on the Norwood Westwood line there. Love Westwood. Cape Gamma. Hey, Cambridge. That's right. Hey, Lindsay. North Andover. My best friends live in North Andover. The Nuskies. College roommate. Great guy. Hey. Jamaica Plain. That's right down the road. I forget that you guys are so close, Sonia. Stowe. That's awesome. I love these different parts of the world. It's fantastic. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, Marley. Bringing the mindfulness out to the Midwest, please. That's awesome. Falmouth. My pops was living in Falmouth those last probably 20 years. No, not Falmouth. He was in Marshfield. What's wrong with me? I do like Falmouth, though. I've been out to dinner once, and it was in Falmouth last weekend at Sopranos. And they did this, it was out on the deck, so you could watch the sunset. And it was so awesome because they had these heaters and everything was kind of blocked off from the wind. It was so great. Wilbraham. Love Wilbraham. We were out there last weekend. My son was voting, so we got a nice little excuse to bring him his absentee ballot in his first election. And actually, I voted yesterday, so get out and vote in Quincy, Mass. Man, that was fun. Look, we killed like 4 minutes waiting for everyone to show up, too. Thank you, guys. You can always ask me questions, too. I'm really good at answering questions, and if I don't have the answer, I can certainly look it up or ask other friends that have been meditating for a while. But today is, hey, Jen. So welcome, Joyce and Nancy. Today, it is Waking Up Awareness Wednesday. So what do we try to do? We try to harness the power of our choices. We try to wake up to more choices so we can be more creative, be more in the moment, and hopefully refine our focus a little bit from earlier in the week when we're focusing on body parts and obviously the mantra. So we're trying to refine the practice a little bit. And hopefully what you'll notice is these little bits of awareness start to seep into the rest of your day. And one of the ways we do that is by focusing on what's going on in the mind. So last Wednesday we worked on our thoughts and thinking, and this week what we're going to do is a little bit of labeling, a little bit of recognizing, a little bit of practicing accepting the present moment, but also noticing how we feel in the present moment, noticing what we're paying attention to in the present moment, and how we're paying attention is really a key to labeling some of these thoughts and thinking and really emotions. So we talk about our sets in meditation. We talk about connecting and starting to understand the content of our mind. One of the things that I think is hard to do is notice that you could have a thought, a feeling, sensation, you could hear a noise, something's going to distract you. But what you don't realize is that the thought combines with the feeling to create a sensation in the body, or it's a thought and a sensation in the body that creates the feeling in the body that is really creating the stronger emotion, really taking your mind someplace else. So when the thought and the feeling combine to create that stronger emotion, that sends a signal to the brain immediately that you're in danger or something's wrong, and that kind of trips the fight or flight response. So you can't be in the moment. You're letting the mind settle this on automatic pilot. And when you do that, all it does is kind of like I like to say, it pours gas on an already lit fire. Your mind has no way to break out of that because you're not starting to understand that you can use your body as a barometer. You can come back to the more moments by starting to notice that sense of irritability before you snap at a coworker, before you react negatively to a family member. And one of the ways we do that is through labeling. And the way I like to label is just to notice as simply as a thought, a story. It could be a feeling of happiness. It doesn't always have to be a negative feeling. You know that. But also it could be just a distraction. And once we do that, it kind of, when we mindfully label something and in our awareness and meditation, it takes us into the present moment. And it really puts, as I like to say, it puts it puts it in a bubble. I said last week, it put a sphere of awareness, and I asked my daughter how her meditation was on Friday, and she goes, I just kept putting spears into my thoughts and thinking, which I also thought was kind of cute. But so we're putting our awareness kind of in a bubble. So it's more connecting to that moment in the bubble so that we can't really go any further. So that's the first thing it does. It puts us right in the moment, right into that sphere, or as Faith says, a spear of awareness. The second thing it does is it shows us that it's not permanent. That if you sit with that emotion or the thought and the feeling combined with emotion, that eventually it will change. It will get stronger or weaker, but it will start to change. So you know that there's no permanence. And the last thing that it does is really what I like about it is it lets me know how I'm feeling about myself in that moment. So say I'm meditating and all of a sudden I'm distracted. Oh man, you're always distracted. And you notice how you're treating yourself. And it gives you the opportunity to be a little bit more kind to yourself. And I think if we refine our attention and bring a little bit more kindness to ourselves in that moment, then we're able to be a little bit more compassionate when we're not meditating. Remember, this is the training ground for when we're not meditating. So I guess remember those three things as we go in. We're going to practice recognizing the distraction today, mentally labeling it a simple label. We will notice, that sphere of awareness. We will notice the impermanence of it all, and hopefully how we're treating ourselves when we're noticing the labeling. And so with that said, that's enough kind of explanation. I'll walk us through it. Let's gently close our eyes. And let's start by taking our first deep breath in together. We will take a deep breath in, really let it fill up the lungs, holding it at the top. And let it out to the mouth. Notice the shoulders drop. We start to ease into the meditation. Take another deep breath in. Again, let it out to the mouth. Let the stress dissolve down the shoulders. Let it wash down the body. Let's loosen some of the neck and the shoulders. Let's kind of smooth into our breath, just naturally breathing in and out. And so before we start our labeling exercise, let's ask ourselves our few questions. And if you've meditated with me before, you know I like to ask myself a few questions every morning before I meditate to help get me centered and hopefully go a little bit deeper exploring that inner landscape. To spend so much time trying to master the outer landscape, I think it's important to start the day by exploring what's going on in here. So the first question I invite you to silently ask yourself is, who am I? Who am I? We wear so many hats throughout our day. We play so many roles, particularly now, that who am I is sometimes really just identifications with what we own and the positions that we hold. And those are threads of who we are. But what happens if we just keep asking the question and try not to judge the answer? So listen for the answer of who am I? Now ask yourself, what do I want? What do I really want to see happen for me in my own life? Again, who am I? What do I want? They're really guiding a majority of our life's choices, and a lot of the times we're too busy doing things for other people. It almost seems anti-American to focus on ourselves, take the time to stop and pause and think about what it is that we want. So ask the question, notice what arises, and just try not to judge the answer, particularly if the answers are physical or material, or even if they're spiritual. What do you want to see happen in your life these next few months? And the last question, what is my dharma? What is my purpose? I really believe that we all have a unique purpose on this planet. And our job is to figure out what we're good at, what we love to do, and then figure out a way that we can use that to help others. So sometimes just strip it all the way down and ask yourself, how can I help? Take a deep breath in through the nose, really let it fill up the lungs. Let it out to the mouth. We can detach from our questions. As my teacher David G likes to say, we'll let the universe work out all the little details. And just know that each time we sit together like this, we're sending a powerful signal to the brain that we matter. what do I want? How can I help? They're a powerful ingredient in not only healing but growing for when we're not meditating. So now we're going to turn our attention back to the breath, but this time we'll do it in a slightly different way. We're going to start, we'll anchor ourselves either in the nostrils, the chest, or the abdomen. We'll figure out where we want to start. And then we'll add in our little add-ons, our labeling. So let's start at the nose. Go ahead, see if you can relax your attention. Bring your focus right to the tip of the nose, and then notice everything you can about the next breath. So as you breathe in, notice the scent, the temperature. As you breathe out, that sense of letting go. And when I exhale, I can really feel that pressure releasing. Okay, now let's move down to the chest area, same idea. We can focus on that first inhale. You can notice if the chest rises. Sometimes the torso lengthens as you gently breathe in from this area, and then the settling. You can actually feel the body want to sink into that relaxation quality. Feel the rise and the fall. And then lastly, we'll bring our attention down to the abdomen. I want you to gently breathe in here, easing into this area. You can notice the expansion in the stomach area, the lower part of the back. Maybe it's the space between your back and the back of your seat. And the dissolving, almost opening of attention as you gently breathe out. So go ahead, take a moment. I want you to decide where you want to place your awareness for these next few minutes of our meditation. I want you to pick one and then let that area be the center stage for today's meditation. So either it's the nostrils, the chest, or the abdomen. And just keep in mind that the quality of our attention is still relaxed. We're not overly focusing, we're refining our attention today, but we're not being too rigid and trying to stay there. We simply place it in one of those three areas. And maybe we get one or two breaths, maybe three. And then our mind wanders, and that's okay. And it wanders to so many things, and we call it our sets, our SETS. Could be a sensation in the body. Could be an emotion. Could be thoughts and thinking. Or could be a sound. Something's going to take our attention away. And our job usually is just to gently guide our attention back to the breath. But today we'll have the breath be center stage. Our distractions will come in from the wings, and instead of escorting them right back, I want to give them a moment center stage, and we'll kind of label their existence before we gently escort them back to the wings. And so the first step is to notice when your attention is drifted away from the breath. And that could be a long time sometimes. You're not even aware, and next thing you know, there's a story and you're on a different continent. There's that awareness, that magic moment. That's mindfulness. I'm aware I'm distracted. So what are you distracted by? So we need to recognize the distraction. Is it a thought? Is it a sensation? Is it a thought and a sensation? Or feeling? Or is it a noise? Or is it judgment? And once we put that label on it, we're kind of breaking its spell on us. We're breaking the story. We're not biting the emotional hook. We do that by accepting that we're distracted. We don't have to like that we're distracted. We don't have to like the feeling, the emotion, the thought. But as soon as we practice accepting it, it's easier to come back to the breath. Then we can come back to our center stage. So it's breath, distraction, awareness of distraction, recognize what it is, noticing even how you feel about it. Notice the judgment you have towards yourself for being distracted. Practice being a little bit more gentle with yourself and come back to the breath. And each time we come back to the breath, remember we're breaking that past conditioning that sets us up to judge later when we're not meditating, that sets us up to be filled with anxiety or ruminate about the past. To be able to use our body as a barometer to break through that way. That's one of the biggest keys. It's a crucial ingredient in really healing. Or we can simplify the process altogether. Recognize the distraction, practice accepting, come back to the breath. Recognize the distraction, accept it with a little label, come back to the breath. Last week we called it see it, name it, tame it. And so let's get into this practice. I'm going to keep an eye on the time. And so when you hear me ring the bell, we'll still continue to sit with our eyes still closed. okay with our eyes still closed, let go of our practice and just rest. Let your mind wander wherever it wants. And we can start to deepen our awareness back into the physical space by gently moving around, rolling the shoulders, the head, whatever you need to do. And when it's comfortable, go ahead and open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you, guys. Thanks for waking up, jumping on. And hopefully you start to see more choice points. I mean, we're getting to that point. If you've been with me for the last almost 4 weeks, we should start seeing some of the benefits start to accrue. So let me know if you are. Let me know if you're not. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Thanks, S. Cogans. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Elisa. Thanks, Mary. And Karen and Kelt. Thanks, Beth. Yes, we are going all the way until November 20th. So we have a few weeks. So each week we build on, these first few weeks is about just getting ourselves to neutral. And then once we hit November, we're going to start bringing hopefully a lot more self-compassion. Convoy. Thanks, brother. Take care of that puppy, that little Annie. Thanks, Sonia. Thanks, Becky and Beckett. Miss you, buddy. It's so great. Jess, it's so great to see you too. And yes, when we're meditating in that group, we're creating that sense of it's cohesive. The sum of our parts is greater. So we're all trying to relax and be happy. And somehow this actually works. Although yes, I would love to be better in a class, but it does work. Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, Kate McDonald. Yeah, start to see if you can string together more and more moments throughout the day where you're like, oh, I didn't get caught up in this story. Oh, this isn't true. Oh, I can be nicer to myself. Thank you, Joyce. Yes, lots of distractions are I say if you're distracted the entire time, as much as it might not have been a pleasurable meditation, that is huge, because then you will start to notice this when you're not meditating. Remember, we're strengthening those neural connections in the brain that are going to help you be more focused later, because you can dismiss it if it's a story. It's going to help your memory. You'll be able to access your memory a little bit easier and hopefully be a little bit kinder to yourself. So thank you. Thank you, Retired 1024. Yes, community builds immunity. And that's what we're trying to do through this virus is build up a little bit of immunity mentally and physically. We are in a mental health crisis as much as a general crisis of health. And that's really the goal, is to help as many people as we can come together in this group and at least start the day off feeling like we've got this. And then if we don't got this, that's fine too. But we can always come back and begin again the next day and try to say we've got this again. And we just keep doing it and keep doing it until we get back to neutral. McGowan, good to see you, brother. I miss you. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Thankful Thursday. Let's bring it into our compassion. Let's see if we can be a little bit more compassionate with ourselves, first and foremost, and then expand that awareness out. So have a great Wednesday, everyone. Get outside and namaste.